The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Get ready to dive into the comic book realm where heroes rise and villains take the helm. We're here to dissect the stories in the art. A source material, we tear the panels apart. Welcome to the source material show now. We don't hold back, we won't let you down. From Batman to Spider-Man, it's all fair game. We talk about the heroes, the villains, and everything in between. Oh yeah.
Woo! Wow. That's the way to bring it in. That's a hell of a background, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's, I mean, my goodness, we are going to be talking about the Joker tonight, folks. And if you can't tell,
It's like an evolution, isn't it?
it is really, when you look at it, all calm and collected, and then it just gets worse from there.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, Mark Radulich, we are back on the Source Material Comics podcast. We're going to be talking about some Joker tonight. Now, didn't we do some Joker stuff in the past? Or maybe I'm thinking Lex Luthor. I know we did like 3 Lex Luthor stories, I think is what we did.
I mean, over the course of doing source material between the two of us, we've done a lot of Joker. There's been quite a number of Joker talk, just Batman talk in general, which inevitably leads to Joker talk. If you'll recall, way back in the old-timey times, Everyone Loves a Bad Guy, I did, and Everyone Loves a Bad Guy about just the Joker. And then Pat did one about Doctor Doom, and then there was like a contest to see like how many listeners each had. And added to the list of things people won't let me live down, that his show about Doctor Doom did better than my show about the Joker. Sons of bitches.
That's funny.
But when you were Essential, I did a review with Chris Sheehan and Alexis Hana, and Chris Sheehan has never forgiven me for it. Where we did the 3 Jokers.
Yes. Okay. All right. I remember you guys talking about that, and I know that there's definitely been some big Joker Batman stories that we've talked about on here, including, oh my goodness,
Death in the. Didn't you do like a Death in the Family, Death of the Family review?
Yeah, me and Teasley did, and I think somebody else was involved there too, where we talked about Death in, Death of. We also talked about the seminal moment where Barbara Gordon gets shot by the Joker, which all of a sudden I cannot remember the name of that.
Killing Joke.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm 99.9% certain in the old days you did a Killing Joke.
Yeah. So
you definitely did the Long Halloween, which is less a Joker story than it is
it's a big Batman rogue story is what that is. Like everybody's showing up in that thing.
Right.
So yeah, you found 3 Joker stories here. We're going to start out with Joker Killer Smile, but why don't you let the audience know, like, what prompted you to do this?
I don't remember how I ended up with Joker Killer Smile. If I was kind of just going through. First of all, Joker is one of my favorite comic book villains of all time. I like the Joker because of the of all the Batman Rogues gallery, he's the one that's most psychological in an interesting sense. You know, like he's not Baby Darkseid, but he's not the Penguin or the Riddler or Two-Face. Like him and Bane both have a thing. It's like we don't just want to rob banks and get rich and win. We see Batman and his destruction as a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about this with City of Bane, where it wasn't just about beating him. It was about tearing him down, making him doubt himself, breaking him psychologically so that he could never recover and do what he ends up doing. Joker, he's kind of a, like, if a terrorist and a performance artist and a full-blown like antisocial narcissist all had a baby, it would be the Joker. He's chaotic evil. He's not about enriching himself. And we're gonna see, you get three. I didn't do this on purpose. I did it totally by accident. But this series of books we're going to talk about tonight is a better version of the Three Jokers than the Three Jokers.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, Joker Killer Smile really gets into Joker as sort of a psychological terrorist.
Oh yeah.
You know, it reminds me of the short story that I always reference on here about, you know, the one where the one guy's treating him, and at the end, like, Joker takes his face and go home and, like, rapes and kills his family. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But you know, everyone kind of goes into like, oh, he's just another insane person, and isn't it a good godly thing that we try to cure these people? And Joker just turns you on yourself, and in the end, you know, he leaves you broken, and like that's what he does. The Puzzlebox is the more of the performance art.
Oh yeah,
you know, I think he sets up these like elaborate murderous schemes, not to enrich himself, but just because what is life but to create art,
right?
And then the Joker War Saga is about trying to break Batman. You started to ask me like why these three books. And my answer was, well, I love the Joker character, so I was kind of looking for encapsulated Joker stories. Joker Killer Smile was a 3-issue Black Label kind of one-shot deal. I don't remember why I got it or how I got it. It might have been a Christmas present from a few years back. It's been sitting on my shelf forever. And I'm like, all right, because we've been doing these like every other month or so, long recording sessions of multiple books. I was like, I got to get this one off my shelf.
Yeah.
So then I just started looking for other encapsulated Joker stories, and I happened to see the Puzzlebox one, and it's a great whodunit. Who killed the Riddler? Who killed the Riddler?
Right. Who killed the Riddler?
That's what's being asked here.
Yeah.
Who killed the Riddler? And we'll talk about what happens in the book. And then the Joker War Saga is just more of, you know, post whatever.
Tom King.
Yeah, the post Tom King. It's not. We're not in the New 52. What is this? Rebirth. This is Rebirth Batman, and it's the James Tynion run after Tom King, and it's one of these like crossover stories. It's like 5 issues of the main Batman comic, and it's about how Joker basically, what if I just steal everything from Bruce Wayne and Batman? What if I steal his company, steal his money, steal his Batman stuff? What if I take everything that makes Batman Batman and turn it against the city? Then what? Well, yeah, how would that work? Also, let me fuck with your head using neurotoxins and get you to see the ghost of your dead dad figure. Yeah. It
gets pretty warped.
He builds on the City of Bane stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question or not at all.
No, it did. That's perfect.
Okay.
I mean, we get into Killer Smile. I didn't know what we were going to get here. I recognize the name Jeff Lemire. Just from other people talking about him and some of the stories that he has done. So he's pretty impactful, pretty popular writer. Andrea Sorrentino is our artist here. Jordi Belair, I've heard his name quite a bit as far as colors go, and Steve Wands on letters. This came out in, I believe the trade came out in 2019. Maybe I don't know if I'm looking at the first issue, but it was right around Halloween of 2019. So I didn't know what we were going to get. It's the Joker. Usually what you're thinking is it's going to be Joker versus Batman, something along those lines. That is not happening in here until the very end. This is a long psychological trip that happens for a person who's trying to, he is going to cure the Joker.
He's going to do what no one has done before.
Right.
And people have either become, insane gymnastic criminals or, murderers themselves or died trying. It's the hubris, Jesse. It is amazing. I mean, I understand why they keep the Joker around because he's a popular Batman. He's popular in his own right. And the idea is to sell books. In real life, they'd have killed him dead. He would be dead 80 times over.
80 times.
Yeah. If nothing else, they would have eventually sent him to that world version of prison. They would have sent him to Blackgate, and he'd have been killed 80 times.
Yeah.
Stabbed, but there would have been some payola. He'd have been stabbed in the shower and gutted, and have his remains nailed to the bathroom wall.
Yep. Yeah. But that's clearly what's going to happen here in Arkham. We have Dr. Ben Arnell, or I believe is his name, or Ben Amell. I can't remember. I can't see what I wrote here, but I'm going to read the synopsis.
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. I swear this is it's either R. Let me put it. Yeah, it's R now. Okay, my bad. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back, relax. I'm going to read you a synopsis here of what occurs in Joker Killer Smile. And then we'll have some points to discuss. I really like this. So here we go. Dr. Ben Arnell, a psychiatrist at Arkham Asylum, believes he can achieve the impossible, curing the Joker. His colleagues warn him that Arkham consumes good men, but Ben is convinced he can break through the Clown Prince's madness. As he spends more time inside the asylum, his grip on reality starts to fray. At home, his wife Anna and son Simon sense his growing detachment. Then one night, Simon pulls out a book Ben doesn't remember buying, Mr. Smiles and the Happyville Friends, a grotesque children's story filled with eerie, violent imagery. The Joker's influence has begun seeping into Ben's life, and the walls between reality and nightmare start to blur. The Joker plays his usual games, taunting Ben about his family, twisting words until the psychiatrist begins questioning his own memories. Time itself becomes unreliable. Has he been working the case for weeks or years? Hallucinations haunt him, laughter echoing through his home, grotesque smiles appearing on the faces of loved ones, and visions of the Joker turning his world inside out. As Ben spirals deeper into paranoia, he wakes up in strange places, unsure how he got there. His mind fractures under the weight of the Joker's psychological warfare. Desperate for answers, Ben races to Arkham in the middle of the night, demanding the truth. The Joker delivers the final blow. Ben hasn't been treating him. He's been his patient. His patient, the Joker's patient. Whether it's a lie or a terrible truth, Ben's sanity shatters. He sees his own reflection change, his face transforming into a grotesque grin. The Joker hasn't just broken him, he's remade him. In a final act of surrender, Ben paints his own face like a clown, embracing the madness that has consumed him. Heading back to Arkham, Ben helps orchestrate a breakout, giving many of its residents the chance to escape, including the Joker. Now fully lost, Ben heads to the new address of his former family, gun in hand, prepared to prove who he really is. But when his son greets him with a painted face mirroring his own monstrous transformation, something inside him cracks. The illusion collapses, and when the dust settles, Batman stands over what remains of Ben Arnell, a man physically alive but mentally destroyed, another casualty of the Joker's endless game. Locked away in Arkham, Ben stares into the void, trapped in the very institution he once believed he could master. The Joker, meanwhile, is free, ready to spread his twisted laughter once again. Gotham will never smile the same way again. All right. So we get ourselves a nice... I dug this story because, number one, DC Black Label, big fan, because they take characters from the DC universe and they tell stories that are not canon, and they can get twisted. DC Black Label, I think, if I remember correctly, is kind of famous for the Bat Dong. I don't know if you remember that or not, but at one point there was a Black Label book that was published that had Batman's penis, and then it immediately got taken off the shelves and re-edited. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I was down for a Black Label book. I was like, man, what are we going to get here? What is Jeff Lemire going to do? And I was not disappointed. You got any thoughts, any notes on Killer Smile?
Sure. This is my most favorite kind of Joker. The psychological warfare type Joker, the Hannibal Lecter type Joker. You know, people come in and they think they can match wits with the Joker, and everyone ends up just getting eaten alive by him. And I was thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking about how the Joker can't dine on Batman alone.
Right.
Like he needs other food to eat. You know what I mean? So whether it was Harley Quinn or this doctor or others who have tried with the Joker, like he's always up for the game because a man can't dine on cheeseburgers alone. There has to be something else. And while the Joker loves Batman to the degree that a psycho can love anybody, like he is Joker and Batman are like Frodo and fucking Gollum. They are just intrinsically tied together, and they're both going. They are destined to go over the falls in the lava. To at the end of all things. But no matter how obsessed the Joker is with Batman, because the Batman is just so like you can temporarily break Batman, but he always finds a way back, and he's always thwarting Joker's plans. It was when we talked about this. You asked me before, like, what other Joker stuff have we did? It wasn't necessarily a Joker book, but this is the conversation we had with Injustice, where the Joker got kind of bored with Batman, and he started fucking with Superman, and Superman was so easy to push over the edge.
Oh yeah,
tiny little push, a little murder of Lois Lane, a little a little nuking of Metropolis, nothing big, and Superman becomes a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that made Superman dies, and he becomes a crazy tyrant, turning half of the DC universe against him. It was the Joker who did that, and was happy to die. Was happy to die for the cause.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, the way that they did that story, Superman kills him in the interrogation room, and the Joker's laughing the entire time. It's like, I finally I win, because it's not about living. It's not about fulfillment. For Joker, it's about he's a shark. Sharks have to eat. Sharks have to keep swimming, and that's it. He's a force of destruction. And the way the Joker eats is he turns sane people insane. And then I always thought the best representation of the Joker on screen. I know some people this is a controversial statement, but Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight to me is probably the best interpretation of the Joker character. His line about I'm like a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught it. It's not about the end game. It's about the journey for Joker. And so some ne'er-do, some do-gooder comes and, yes, there would be a certain amount of fame and notoriety that would go with curing the Joker. And what's life without challenge? And so what's the biggest challenge out there? It's the Joker. So let's see if we can, cure this murderous madman. And I do like the concept of what are we doing at Arkham if we're not trying to rehabilitate people?
Right. Right.
Are we just another warehouse of humans? Because if we're not trying to rehabilitate people, I've kind of had this issue working in correctional healthcare for the last 10 years, where it starts to become like, what are we doing here? If we're not trying to rehabilitate people, what is the point of this? What is the point of any of it? Is it just to warehouse people and keep them off the street? Because there's easier ways to do that.
Yeah.
And Arkham Asylum is this place where you're supposed to restore people to sanity. And so this guy comes in and he was like, well, what's the biggest threat out there? It's the Joker. Well, I'm gonna commit myself to helping this guy, and Joker just tears him to pieces.
Yeah. Right. And he has
you don't even know what's happening. Joker is like quicksand. Exactly,
dude. That is what's great about this book, is that it puts you're mostly following Ben throughout his life and his daily routine. And you're thinking, well, everything's just fine, and I'm going to root for this guy. He's going to try and change. He's going to try and cure the Joker. But yeah, you're right. You, as the reader, sometimes you have no idea. You just know things are starting to get really weird. Like, what is going on here? Why does this kid have this book?
Yeah.
Why does his family, start looking like the Joker? Why does he not want the kid to go down the basement? I mean, there's just all sorts of things that are really just this isn't right. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. As I was doing my due diligence in having the AI read the comic and make notes for me, I did, I made sure to tell ChatGPT, I was like, this was a pretty good book. What were your thoughts? So there was a quote. I had to yank it out of there because usually it's just me talking to the AI and getting all my personal, my thoughts out there, and trying to hone everything in. But there's quote that I'm going to quote what ChatGPT said. It said, Ben was doomed from the very first conversation.
Right.
He didn't just talk to the Joker. He let the Joker talk to him. And that was like, oh, wow. You're right. I mean, as soon as the Joker opened his mouth, he started working on him. And you start to see like this stuff that is just kind of, it's breaking Ben as things go forward here. One of my notes down here was that, and I wanted to ask you, do you think Ben was like mentally okay when he sat down to talk with the Joker? Or do you think the Joker was just like this small push that he needed to kind of fall into becoming mad?
There's no way to know that because you don't know enough about Ben before he saw the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
But I would assume, a licensed mental health worker, professional mental health worker, somebody with enough fame and notoriety and professional experience to have gotten the gig to work with the Joker was relatively sane before he got it.
You would think, right?
But I also think that that's what makes the Joker, is to take people who are coming from a good, solid place and shatter them.
Yeah.
Like, you can just imagine, like, you go into this innocently enough and, and the Joker just tells you one lie after another, makes you question your own sanity, Joker is like, not to put too much of a modern coat of paint on it, but he's like the ultimate gaslighter.
Mm.
Gaslighting is the act of making you question your own reality.
Right.
And that's ultimately, the way Joker gets in.
Speaking of, just wait till you get the second episode of Black Mirror. Be ready for that. Gaslighting is that should have been the name of the episode was gaslighting. It's good. Anyway, okay, all right, yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. He starts talking to you. He starts kind of manipulating you, make you think one thing. Oh, how did you get this book to my son? And one of my favorite parts, of course, is the fact that he thinks he's been there for weeks, and it turns out it's been years that he's been trying to do this over and over and over. So he's lost concept of time. I have a theory. I had this theory, and it kind of falls back on this the question I had for you. Well, it was a theory. I don't think there's anything in the book to kind of support this. There's a point when he's at home. And I mentioned how his son wanted to go down to the basement, and he grabbed his son. And he's like, don't ever go down there. Don't go down there, whatever you do. Now, I thought at first, I was like, okay, he's got like all the Joker files down there or something crazy. And then it kind of occurred to me like, what if this dude's actually like a legit like serial killer or something? I was thinking maybe that's why he would
go in there. That's where it keeps the bodies.
I was thinking, well, he's already turned. Like again, and I don't know if we ever learn what's down in the basement. I feel like we do see some folders and some pictures of the Joker and stuff. But anyway, I remember reading that and going, oh man, maybe he's actually a killer in some way. But yeah, the big reveal when you find out that Ben's been alone this whole time and he's been imagining his wife and son at home, and there's like dishes stacked up on the sink and like nobody's there. I gotta say, I gotta give this thing high marks for that, because I was really into this book. I was sucked into the story. It's only 3 issues long. And I don't think the issues are too long. It was a quick read.
Oh yeah. I breezed by it.
Yeah, there's not, this was definitely a good story told by Jeff Lemire. The art by, oh my goodness, what was her name? Andrea Sorrentino. Sorrentino. lends itself to this story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is one thing I will definitely say, that you got to pick the good artist for the story that you were going to tell. And this did a good job of doing just that. So that's kind of all the notes that I have here. Any other things that popped up in your mind as far as Joker Killer Smile goes?
I like the book. This is the kind of Joker that I like. It's like I said, it's a short story. It's a very short read. I think the only thing I would say about it is, with a story like this, you never quite know, because now you're dealing with an unreliable narrator, which is, boy,
Well, that's coming up.
yeah. Wait till we get to the next book. I wish we could kind of take if you think about like The Usual Suspects, where there's always that scene at the end where you take a step back and you see how Verbal Kent constructed his story,
Right.
and it turns out he's Kaiser Sose. It's like, they
Yep.
get you right at the end, and they take you back. Like, this is how we got here. These are all the clues,
Yeah.
There's always that scene at the end of like a lot of these kinds of movies where we have to go back and revisit things. And did you catch all of these details?
Exactly. Exactly. A
That's
comic book that
that's
makes
missing
you.
that's missing from the story.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, I'll give you that, because you can kind of catch on pretty quickly what's going on, but I don't know. I feel like if we did go back and read it again, there might be a couple things that you could pick up on, like, okay, yeah, oh, right, well, yeah, no wonder he's not seeing he's actually not seeing his family. His family's not there. But
I do think it's harder. I do think it's harder in a comic book than it is in the movie to kind of do that thing, but it is doable. It's also, I think, more common in movies than it is in comics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100% there. Batman does show up. I mentioned Batman. Batman shows up for like a quick second to essentially pound the Joker's face.
I love Batman books that don't have Batman in them.
He shows up for like a quick second. Joker does this thing where he's like, you got to choose me, or you got to choose so-and-so who's going to, Dr. Arnell, who's going to go home and kill his family.
Boy, is that going to come up again.
Yes, it is. But Batman shows up there at the home. And of course, at that point, when I think it's obviously when he recognizes his son being in the same room, that's when Dr. Arnell, drops the gun. And he's like, he's.
Can I add one more thing?
Yeah.
You and I have talked about this before. Robert and I have talked about this before. It's a common enough subject over the years that we've been doing this. The concept of like the one bad day.
Oh, yeah.
You and I don't remember which show it was, but you and I just kind of going back and forth. Oh, it might have been one of the David Simon shows, as a matter of fact. Because I remember thinking, like, we think we have it all. We have family, we have jobs, we have, stability, we have homes, we have stuff. You think you've got it, and you're like, well, I would never do anything crazy. This is where you get the people who do crazy, horrible things that should be thrown in a dungeon and killed, locked there forever, in that order. And then you lose your job, you lose your family, you lose your home. That concept of like the one bad day, that falling down thing. And then you really, are you Job? Are you able to turn the other cheek? Are you able to stay, devoted to God and in His word? Or do you become the Joker?
Mm-hmm.
Do you become a murderer or something in between? Do you give in the drug addiction? Do you end up just lying in an alley somewhere in Italy and getting, raped by your rich employer? That's a nod to The Brutalist, by the way.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That was, in case Robert's watching, that was a wink at him. Rape the manhood back into you. What?
I don't understand.
Stop it, Guy Pearce.
You are putting manhood in me, but wait.
This is not the way, Guy Pearce. This is not the way. Anyway, so you go into this thing like, I'm a learned, educated man. I have a family. I have my wits about me. I am, a master of psychology. And then you walk in, you meet the Joker, and it's more than one bad day.
Yeah.
And then you're painting your face like the Ultimate Warrior and running around killing people.
I think what Lemire does, just tremendously well in this book is when you go insane, the fact that you may not know you're going insane is probably going to be what occurs. You are going to have no idea.
Because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you.
You're not going to know.
Mm.
And I think that's what's scariest about this book is Dr. Arnell has no idea, and nobody else would. I don't think many other people would either. A descent into madness is sometimes slow, methodical, and it is also the person who is going mad is not aware of it.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah. So I think that's what's done very well here. The one bad day that you're talking about, he had the one bad day, and it just kind of started to snowball out of that, down. So Jeff Lemire.
And then it's like how sane are you really? Because you think you're really sane. You think you've got it all together. You think you have.
What other people don't sometimes. Other people don't know what you know. That's the thing too. Is like you
have a resilience made of steel, and it turns out it's made of straw.
Mm-hmm.
Put more than a little weight on it, and it collapses. But you think you had the resilience, you had resilience made of steel. You think you can handle the weight of somebody like the Joker, and then it turns out you can't.
No, you were going into this with, just like you said earlier, hubris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you went into this with thinking that you could do the impossible, and unfortunately, you could not in spectacular fashion. You didn't. So
you are a pig in a blanket to a carnivore like the Joker.
Great way to end it right there. All right, there it is. Killer Smile, Joker, Killer Smile. Jeff Lemire did a fantastic job. I will say, I think this is my favorite of the three that we're going to be talking about.
It's my second favorite.
Okay. All right. Then I can't wait.
The next one is the best.
Really? All right. I love hearing that. Can't wait to talk about it. All right. Well, then let's get into The Joker Presents a Puzzlebox.
It's the riddle box.
Now, did you just quote ICP?
I did.
Oh, man.
Create insane clown posse because, Jesse, we're going
makes
chicken
me so
hunting.
proud. Oh, my goodness. Makes me so proud.
Going chicken hunting. We's going
chicken hunting. I know. I wasn't a juggalo back in the day, but I thought about putting a hatchet.
Once a juggalo, always a juggalo.
I thought about putting a hatchet rider on the back of the car, but I didn't. I didn't do that.
You ever get doused in Faygo, Jesse? You ever get someone just spray their Faygo all over you?
What is the big event that they always have? It was not very far from where I was living up in Heath, Ohio. There was the Gathering of the Juggalos was about, 15 miles from the house.
Nice.
And the one year that they had it, I ended up getting put on grand jury. And I was an alternate, so I got to listen to all the cases, but I never had to vote on anything until the very end. But anyway, we had a few come through.
You should have told them you were a juggalo. They'd have sent you right home.
There was I don't remember what
you cannot serve on the jury. Yes, because I intend to go chicken hunting.
Whoop whoop.
Not a motherfucking chicken good, right?
Whoop whoop. All right. Joker Presents a Puzzle Box. All right, and I remember when we were talking about what was this going to be? What were these stories that we were going to do? And I was like, the Joker is actually presenting somebody a puzzle box. No, that is not the case. This story is the freaking puzzle box. I can tell you that much.
This is one of those things. I wish if I could do my life over again, I would do so many things differently. But if I really could kind of go back and be like, we give you one chance now that you know where your talents lie and where your life is going to go. What do you really want to do? I would have gone to law school and been like an entertainment lawyer, but I would have tried to work my way up as an executive in a film studio because I really want to be in a position of green lighting or guiding certain projects from a macro point of view. Because I absolutely would have had somebody take a book like this and adapt it.
My goodness.
There is no reason to do some of what they've done with a lot of these comic book movies. Just take the stories from the books and make them movies.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about interconnected universes.
Oh my goodness.
Don't worry about continuity. Don't worry about any of that. Just take up story. Just do like they do with novels. You think novels fucking worry about connected universes? They don't. They just option a fucking book and they make a movie out of it and it makes $1 million.
And well, it's interesting that you say that because one of the most recent, well, not the second Joker movie, but the first Joker movie was very much, set apart from continuity and things like that with, but it did well. I've never watched it yet. I've been meaning to, but I've heard it's really good.
Which movie?
The first Joker movie, not Folie à Deux, but what's the
Joker 2019.
Yeah, there you go. So, and that's not that's not continuity,
that's a loaded conversation, friend.
Oh, goodness.
But you're right. It is outside of any pre-established continuity.
Yeah, and it's a good story, right? I mean, did you enjoy what you watched?
Have you not heard me talk about this at length?
I guarantee you, I have. Do I remember it? No.
To answer your question, I will simply say I left the theater in 2019, went to my car, I sent a message to Robert and Alexis, and I said, I don't know how to talk about this movie. I don't know how I feel right now. And Alexis said, that's fine. You don't have to host your own show. I'll do it for you. And Robert said, when I said, I don't know how to talk about the show, he went, badly? At which point I got in my car and sobbed.
Oh, no.
Uncontrollably for like an hour.
Oh, my goodness.
The movie had quite an effect on me.
Okay.
So,
all right.
The short answer to your question, yes, sir. Yes, I liked it a lot.
It was a good movie. It was decent. Hey, it made you feel something.
Oh, it made me feel a lot of something.
Yeah. If I know anything, if a movie can make you laugh, cry, whatever, it's done its job.
Yeah, the Joker 2019 really should have been a one and done, and it was a product of its time. The world was a much different place 6 years ago.
This is true. Joker presents a Puzzlebox. DC Comics published, obviously, in December of 2021. I want to run down the creative team. Okay, I don't know what format happened here with this book. It's really interesting because there's each issue is only 10 pages.
This might have been an internet comic.
That's what I'm starting to wonder myself.
You do your thing. I'm going to do my thing.
All right. Yeah, you're going to have time because I want to run down the creative team of every single one of these issues. All right. Well, our writer is the same writer throughout, and that's Matthew Rosenberg. Arts for the art, we got pencils and inks. I'm just going to give you names. They participated in either penciling or inking the issue. That's Jesus Marino, Joshua Hickson, Karen Grant, Dominique Stanton, Juni Ba, Vanessa Del Rey, Ricardo Lopez Ortiz, Chris Mooneyham, Freddie E. Williams II, Juan Doe, Vincent Cifuentes, and Mike Norton. Pencilers, just pencils by themselves, Sean Crystal. And then as we get into colorists here, Ulysses Areola, Joshua Hickson, Karen Grant, Jeremy Cox, Mike Spicer, Nick Filardi, Eva de la Cruz, Tony Avina, Roman Stevens, and Juan Doe. And letters throughout the whole of the issues was the same, and that's Farron Delgado. All right, what are you seeing?
The Joker Presents a Puzzlebox was really published by DC Comics as a digital-first series, part of their initiative to release new content through digital platforms before physical publication.
Okay.
In the initial format, the series debuted August 2021 on DC Universe Infinite and other digital comics platforms as a weekly digital-first title. The first several chapters were released one at a time in digital format. So it would make sense that they were short, by the way.
Yeah,
that's also how they did Injustice initially.
I remember. Yeah. So we've got, how many was there? 14 here. I think it was 14 issues on this one total. But again, short stories and a lot of characters. A lot of characters. So I'm going to hit you with a synopsis here. Mm-hmm. And it's a little long. I'm not trying to fit everything in there because my goodness, I don't think there's any way I could. But
that's what I said.
Let me run this down. The story kicks off with Joker being interrogated by Commissioner Gordon and the GCPD after a disastrous gathering of Gotham's most dangerous villains ends in chaos and a corpse. Joker, ever the showman, revels in playing mind games, slowly peeling back layers of a deeper mystery involving the death of the Riddler. As Joker spins tales full of absurd humor and unreliable narration, it's revealed that the Riddler was on the hunt for an ancient and powerful artifact called the Master Engine, a device connected to the new gods and split into 5 pieces. Each villain has unknowingly enlisted in a race to retrieve the fragments, setting in motion a deadly game. Wacky race.
It's a deadly game.
It is quite a deadly game. As the narrative shifts between flashbacks and the present day interrogation, we see each piece of the puzzle fall into the hands of Gotham's most infamous rogues. In Russia, Black Mask and Two-Face battle over one piece, leaving a trail of blood in the snow. Harley Quinn, manipulated by Mad Hatter's illusions, fights her own allies deep within Gotham's sewers before discovering her own piece, only to have it snatched away by Killer Croc. Each tale reveals betrayals, alliances, and escalating danger surrounding the Master Engine, with Catwoman orchestrating from the shadows and Joker delighting in the unfolding chaos. By the 5th issue, the intensity spikes. Harvey Dent returns to Gotham seeking revenge on Black Mask, but is instead caught in a violent clash involving Deathstroke and Dr. Phosphorus. Just when things can't get more explosive, Batman, in quotes, enters the fray, upending everyone's plans and confiscating the puzzle piece for himself. The mystery deepens as it becomes clear that Joker knows more than he lets on, pulling strings behind the scenes and leaving the reader to wonder who is really in control of this deadly game. Sing it again.
Because it's a deadly game.
There it is. The pieces are moving, but the final picture is still hidden in shadow. The story continues its mad descent through chaos and cunning as the Joker keeps spinning tales in the GCPD interrogation room, each one more elaborate than the last. We follow the trail of the final pieces of the Master Engine scattered across the globe. Man-Bat and Killer Moth battle amid volcanic fire. Penguin stumbles through deadly riddles only to be duped by Poison Ivy, and in the getaway... let's try it again. And in Gateway City, a gruesome showdown between Professor Pig and Scarecrow reveals just how desperate and deranged the hunt has become. Throughout it all, Joker's narration keeps the detectives and the reader on edge, blurring the line between truth and lunacy. As all the pieces begin converging, tensions explode in a warehouse confrontation where Gotham's rogues finally collide. Harley Quinn, Bane, Scarecrow, Penguin, and more brawl over the assembled pieces of the Master Engine, only to be shocked when the supposedly dead Riddler emerges to reveal its true power. The ability to rewrite reality itself. But before anyone can claim godhood, betrayal strikes again. The machine is activated, explodes, and the Riddler vanishes in a flash of light. In the shadows, Batman emerges, casting doubt over everything they thought they knew amid the smoke and broken alliances. It's revealed that many were chasing fakes, and someone else has always been one step ahead. The final pieces of the puzzle, how many more paragraphs do I have? The final pieces of the puzzle reveal a masterstroke of manipulation. Interrogations with Penguin, Harley, and Two-Face show differing accounts of what happened that night, each revealing clues, but none telling the full story. Joker gifted the real Master Engine to Two-Face, but it was never his to give. The Riddler was never there. And in the end, the true architect of his grand deception wasn't Joker or Riddler. It was Batman, supposedly. The Dark Knight played every player, outwitted every schemer, and took the real Master Engine for himself. I don't know about that. The box was never lost. It was exactly where it needed to be. As the Joker presents, a puzzle box reaches its final act. The layers of manipulation and deception come crashing down in a chaotic symphony orchestrated by none other than the Joker himself. The GCPD reels from riots, explosions, and betrayals. Joker continues to spin half-truths and mind games from his cell, keeping Jim Gordon and Harvey Bullock just off balance enough. Meanwhile, the story flashes to past events that reveal how Joker turned every villain in Gotham into an unwitting pawn in a grand, insane puzzle. Clayface impersonating Batman. Mr. Freeze manipulated with a false ledger, and the Master Engine fakes scattered across the city. The real Riddler, however, had been kidnapped and hidden away in a Dairy King freezer. Just one of Joker's many hidden aces. The truth behind the chaos is finally revealed. Joker was never hunting for godhood with the Master Engine. He already had it and used its reality warping power for one petty but perfect punchline. Say that 3 times fast. He wished for a fake corpse of the Riddler to sell the illusion of a murder that never happened, all to craft a mystery that no one could solve. It wasn't about killing the Riddler. It was about proving that Joker could outdo him, crafting a riddle that didn't need an answer because the question itself was the joke. The riddle wasn't who killed the Riddler. It was who cares. Joker tells that to Riddler in the final confrontation, reducing the ultimate prize to a punchline in his one-man comedy show. But Joker's victory lap is short-lived, just as he basks in the afterglow of his greatest joke ever told. Catwoman confronts him, and behind her, the shadow of justice looms large. Batman ambushes the clown with brutal finality, ending the story not with a punchline, but a punch. Joker's elaborate tapestry of manipulation is unraveled, and the game he thought he'd won is revealed to be just another move in someone else's bigger plan. The final riddle may have been Joker's, but the last word belongs to Batman. Wow.
I love this book.
You have got to tell me, I mean, why do you like this book?
Did you see Knives Out?
Yes, very good movie.
Did you see Glass Onion?
Yes, I did. Very good movie.
Imagine this book directed as a movie directed by Rian Johnson.
Okay. All right. You got me sold.
Okay. That's why I needed to be reborn as a movie executive. First of all, I love the use of the unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
I love we know there's a murder. We have a dead body. We have multiple witnesses, all of which are untrustworthy, all of which are psychos, all of which are liars. And the cops just trying to, and
there's no way.
The cops being, somewhat black and white in their thinking.
Sure.
And Gotham already not having the most reliably dependable police force.
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2 of them have been on the take over the years. So this idea of it's a whodunit with the worst possible witnesses.
Yeah.
And there is no Benoit Blanc, or whatever his name is. There's no master detective. Batman's hardly even in this book. It's the shitty, stupid Gotham police trying to solve the murder of the Riddler with the shitty, stupid, crazy Batman Rose Gallery. And at the centerpiece of all of this is the Joker, who, nobody will talk. Everyone's like, lawyer. It's like, scene from The Wire. Lawyer. Nobody will talk. But then there's the Joker prancing out of the cell because he wants the engagement.
Yeah.
It builds on the kind of stuff we talked about in the last book. Why do this? Why do any of this? Because I want the attention. I want the engagement. I want to see who I can break. I want to see what happens here. But the other side of it is why do this?
That was the big thing that I wrote down here. Like, why did this have to happen?
And again, why climb a mountain?
Right.
Why run a marathon? See if you can do it. See if you can to finish it. To see what you'll be on the other side of the accomplishment. And that's what I kind of love about, besides the whodunit aspect, the colorful characters, the unreliable narrators, is that this is all performance art. This is Andy Kaufman writ large.
Oh yeah, dude.
Why did I do? The fact that he used the God Machine to create a body of the Riddler so that he could have a dead body but not actually kill the Riddler. And his whole thing is you don't matter. You, with all your riddles and your elaborate plot lines and your, engagements with Batman, matter nothing at all. What a horrible, horrible thing to go out of your way to prove.
But, that just speaks to the insanity of the Joker, because what I think really drives him to do this, you mentioned performance art. He watches, he's watching all this ripple out, And he's just, he's like, oh, well, what if I do this over here? Let's see what happens to these guys over here. And what if I do this? And what if I do this? But yeah, the Joker and the Riddler trying to get one over on the Riddler by doing this. I mean, yeah, that is like that's next level.
When I worked at one of my first jobs in social work, I worked as kind of a house parent in a juvenile facility, and it was a group home, but it was kind of the last stop before these kids went to an actual juvenile detention. The idea was this is the last intervention before you start doing serious time for very serious crimes these kids were committing. So we had some gang members in there. We had child sex offenders. We had, a pretty rough crowd.
Right.
And I remember, I hadn't gone to social work school at this point. I had an English degree. But you didn't need one to work in a home like that. They just needed bodies.
Right.
And I remember doing the training and talking to my manager, and he was like, you really have to watch yourself with these kids. They have no other stimuli. You are entertainment to them. They are going to do things. It doesn't matter if they get in trouble. Like, what more can we possibly do to them? They know what they are. They, more than anybody else, know where they are and what they're doing and what's going to happen to them if they don't take the program seriously. So many of them are just biding their time, and because they are bereft of entertainment, will make you the entertainment, and will do stuff that push your buttons, will do stuff just to see what you'll do. And it's funny because, again, I go back to Heath Ledger. Like, when he's talking to Batman, he's like, some of this was I just wanted to see what you do. You let all those people die. You didn't disappoint. Fucking love that. I know there's some people who don't like that iteration of the Joker. They like Jack Nicholson, or they like, God bless him, Cesar Romero, or if you're mentally a child but an adult body, Mark Hamill. Shots fired.
Yeah, look out! The animated series people are coming for you.
Go fuck yourselves. They can come after me when they're done watching their cartoons and eating cereal on the couch. So anyway. But yeah, I've always loved that aspect of the Joker. I don't. There's nothing you can do to me. Again, that's a Heath Ledger line. Like, I don't care. Kill me. Don't kill. Like, if you kill me, I win. When you have nothing to lose, and you don't care if you have no respect for life, yours or anyone else's, you are the most powerful person on earth.
Yeah.
And the Puzzlebox really plays with that idea, because you have the Riddler, who had a very defined idea of what it was he wanted. He wanted a genie's lamp. That's what the engine, the master engine, or whatever the hell it was. It was a genie's lamp. It was a wish machine.
But it's like a one-time use thing.
Yeah.
Which is you only got one shot at this, guys.
Right. I could finally achieve. It's funny, everybody else in the Batman universe is more or less motivated by wanting to be rich and powerful. The Joker is one of the few that's entirely motivated by trying to see what people will do if he pushes on them a certain way.
You're right. Manipulation.
And, in a lot of ways, this was kind of the Joker versus the Riddler, even though the Riddler's barely in it.
Right.
This was, I have decided today to make you the source of my entertainment. What happens if I take your dream and smash it?
Yeah.
Waste it. All your hard work, flush it down the toilet. What will you do? And then second to that, what if I have the Gotham City Police running around in circles?
Right.
And tertiary to that, what if I gather up all these crazy criminals and monsters and just fucking, give them a minor task?
Right.
What will you do?
And here we are, the reader, along for the ride too. I mean, we have no idea what's going through this guy's head.
The Joker makes entertainment of us all.
Right. Dude.
That's what I like about this book.
I mean, at one point in the book, Riddler's body is in the morgue. And I think Catwoman is taken downstairs, or somebody's taken downstairs to go look at the Riddler's body. And so you, as the reader, are like, okay, what's going on here? The Riddler's dead. Oh my gosh, what happened here? And then, of course, we find out it was the God machine that made the duplicate, and it was the Joker that decided to do
The
that.
fucking look on the Riddler's face. That's what you use this for?
Yeah,
Why?
dude. All
White-
just to let you know, I performed one of the greatest jokes ever, one of the greatest riddles,
Yeah.
one of the greatest riddles.
And it's
out
so
there.
petty too, because they talk about that in the book. There's a bit where it's like the Joker and the Riddler, one's wanting to ask the other one to work together, and he was like, no, because riddles are complicated and jokes are dumb. And Joker's like a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not gonna take that lying down. Let me fuck your entire life up because you mildly insulted me.
Mm-hmm. Right, dude.
Such as his poor ego integrity. It's great.
The
Ultimate pettiness.
Some of my favorite parts of this book is
Mhm.
like hearing the story being told from the different villains.
Again, imagine this directed by Ryan Johnson.
Oh, dude, like the Penguin, like yelling at Batman, telling the story that he's yelling at Batman, and he keeps calling Batman names in his side of the story, which is not what it happened. There's also, I've put a note down here just to say what an accomplishment by a lot of creative teams to kind of get this story across. I know sometimes it's tough to do that. There is a sequence in here where it's Penguin versus Bane, and Penguin's trying to outrun Bane, and it's told like a silly little Indiana Jones thing where he's going through these catacombs. He meets Tweedledum and Tweedledee or whoever they are. I can't remember their names. But the Penguin's adventure was probably one of the more fun ones here, where we got to see him trying to get to this piece of the puzzle box that's buried in these catacombs and outwit Bane at the same time. And then by the end of that, he's the one that's outwitted anyway. My Catwoman, I think, or somebody comes in there. Maybe it was Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy had created a duplicate. So, I mean, just your head is swimming trying to figure out who in the world is telling the truth. You have no idea. You have no clue. And by the end of the story, you just know the Joker's doing something. What is he doing? Then when you find out what it all comes down to, I mean, it's a pretty
see where people
fun
would be
payoff.
like, oh, that's it. But that's the point.
Oh, that is the point. That is. I agree with you.
You are supposed to get to. That's why I laughed. This book had its intended effect on me because I laughed at how unfulfilling it was.
Got to the end, and it's
so meta. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, when he just says it's not who killed the Riddler, it's who cares.
Right. It's like the writers are just asking the readers, like, hey, how would you like to get really invested in a serious whodunit to have the most unfulfilling ending ever? What if we jerk you off and leave you with blue balls? How do you like that, you fat bearded fucks?
Are you close?
That's what the writers are saying to the audience. It's like, hey, remember all those death threats to Tom King? Well, here's two of these. Sit on them, assholes. And because I'm me, I love that.
I understand.
Give
I
us
get
help,
it.
Wimby.
Joker presents a puzzle box. There you go. I mean, I don't have any other notes here unless you've got something.
I love this book. This is one of those ones that I don't read stuff multiple times, but I would go back and read this again. I would want to see this as a movie, like a real life movie, like on Netflix. I don't think this would do well in the theater. But in a world where it doesn't matter and you can just make the movie and figure out the distribution later, I would love to see like I said, like a Ryan Johnson or somebody tackle this. Somebody who really can handle mystery, but also handle what is the line everyone uses with Ryan Johnson, subverting expectations or whatever.
Oh yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's great, and I think the way that not every writer handles the Joker great. Matthew Rosenberg, I think, did an excellent job of giving us the most identifiable Joker. The one where he doesn't give a two shits in a fuck about being rich or getting over. Even like murdering people is a means to an end. There's no passion behind it. For Joker, it is about watching you chase your tail. And just put yourself in the position of the Joker in this book. You know what the answers are. You know who the bodies are. You know everything. And you are just watching everybody like do a Scooby Doo and just run through the hallways. If you're the Joker, how entertained are you? And then
Right.
and then you as the reader, like are even just like frustrated, like for the love of God, move the story forward already. And like somehow or other, this inanimate, fake character is laughing at you, laughing at you. The Joker was laughing at us as we the reader read this story. That's to me that fourth dimension that makes it all come together is knowing that the writer of this, Matthew Rosenberg, through the guise of the Joker character, is laughing at the reader.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is. I can see that. I can see that 100%. All right, man.
Get to the end of it like, you got me, you motherfuckers.
Right. All right. Next up, we have the Joker War Saga.
Yep.
So, yeah, like I told you, I did 38 pages of summary. Luckily, I didn't write all 38 pages, but I definitely have 38 pages on a Google Doc that explains.
Summarize that 38 pages to like 50 words or less.
Five paragraphs.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, the last one I just went through had like 8, so this is less than.
Okay.
And when you do
that, I am definitely playing with my phone.
Well, when you have a creative team here, there's quite a few creative teams because you mentioned we have the Batman solid book.
You listen to us. You listen to me and Evan talk about
History of Violence.
Yeah. Did you turn into the beginning of the show where we were talking about Acts of Vengeance?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is an old classic crossover.
Oh yeah.
It's as classic as multiple covers.
So I think like the main story is through the Batman book.
Yes, it's 5 issues of Batman, but then there's like Red Hood, Batgirl, Batwoman.
I think they're all going under like Joker War Collateral Damage. I think is what it is. So yeah, you got Detective Comics 1025, Red Hood, just like you were saying. So there's a smattering of issues. Actually, I have it listed here. Give me a second because I should read that. So Batman number 95 through 100, Batgirl number 47, Detectives Comics 1025, Red Hood Outlaw number 48, Nightwing 74, Joker Warzone number 1, and stories from Harley Quinn 75 and Catwoman 25. So all of those were touched by the Joker War, and it's a pretty expansive. This is some stuff that Gotham City is going through, so it makes sense that all these books are touched.
What is it, a year after City of Bane? How does anyone live in this fucking city anymore?
Oh, that was going through my head as I was reading this. I was like, I'm moving. I mean, there's no way
I'll go to Coast City and risk getting blown up.
This is, it is bad in Gotham City. We've got clowns running around terrorizing the city. It's
like
not
every year,
good.
Though.
Right.
This is the same, I don't know if like No Man's Land is still continuity anymore because I don't give a shit about anything like that. But can you imagine, like, you've been a Gothamite for the last 50 years and you've had to survive multiple fucking, terrorists taking over your city,
right?
An earthquake, like
get the hell out. You just leave. All that will be left in Gotham City is criminals, because that's all it's going to be.
I tell you, like, someone needs to write a book called Gotham Civil War, and it's literally just the people of Gotham finally like breaking into Arkham, killing everybody. They kill the Joker, they run into Blackgate and kill everybody there.
Sort of get a little bit of that in this.
No,
I
book. I need the entire city.
I get you.
I need the entire city to just fucking lose their shit, and it ends with them killing Batman. We fucking had enough.
No, we took care of business. You're no longer needed. You're not okay.
Nightwing's nailed to a cross. Stay the
got
fuck
dark. I'm gonna throw the
fucking Damien's. They just heads on a spike at the where the sign that says "Welcome to Gotham."
Boy,
that's a story I'd write.
I mean, that'd be something else, because now criminals are going to be scared of coming into Gotham because
can you imagine, like, you walk in, that's my pitch to a DC editor. Hey, Mark, we're really happy to have you. Thank you for coming from, your independent company, Pantsless Productions. You write some weird comics. Well, thank you. I really try to write out of the box. Well, what's your pitch for Batman? What do you want to do? I want to do a year-long story where at the end of it, all the Gothamites kill the entire Batman universe. Get the fuck out of here. What's wrong
No,
with you?
they'll be like, point you over here to Black Label, sir. Sit down, have at it. Have at it, brother.
12 issues, lots of luck.
Have at it. All right. So yeah, as far as creative teams go, I did not get everybody on here, so I'm not going to go through them. I'll put them in here post edit. But I can't tell you, it's James Tynion IV is writing the main Batman story. And then all the other adjacent titles obviously have different creative teams on them as well. Our Jorge Jimenez, I think, is on the art here for Joker War in Batman, and then Tamu Moray is on colors, Clayton Cowles on letters here, and this is again in the main Batman Joker War story. Here's the synopsis. The Joker War Saga is a sprawling Gotham-wide catastrophe unleashed.
Catastrophe.
Catastrophe. Unleashed when the Joker seizes control of Wayne Enterprises and uses Bruce Wayne's fortune to wage psychological and chemical warfare on the city by hacking into Wayne Tech
Mostly
systems.
chemical.
Yeah. By hacking into Wayne Tech systems through Lucius Fox, corrupted by Joker toxin, Joker arms his clown army with advanced bat gadgets and poisons the streets, turning Gotham into his nightmarish playground. The city descends into chaos. The GCPD is overrun. Civilians are caught in the crossfire, and Batman himself is broken. Oh, boy.
Once a year, we break the bat.
Both physically and mentally, by a brutal mix of Joker toxin and Scarecrow's fear gas. Meanwhile, Joker's newest disciple, Punchline, emerges as a fearsome force. She outmaneuvers Harley Quinn, takes on Batman, and delivers Joker's venomous vision with sharp efficiency. Gotham's heroes are scattered, its infrastructure hijacked, and even Bruce's legacy is called into question as Joker broadcasts twisted retellings of Batman's origin across the city, staging gruesome reenactments. Oh boy, let me try that again. Staging gruesome reenactments in the Monarch Theater. Simultaneously, a new vigilante named Clown Hunter rises from the ashes, serving up brutal street justice while challenging Batman's no-kill rule. Real quick, and I just want to throw this out there. We must have missed, or maybe it's always been known, did Joker always know that Bruce Wayne was Batman? Or did he just overtake the Wayne fortune and use it to... You have to think that he knows, because he's using the whole Monarch Theater against him. He's using Alfred against him, so he has to know. He knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
I would assume so.
Okay. I mean, so that must have happened in some previous issues.
Let me tell you how I didn't think about that at all.
Well, it didn't occur to me till late in the book. I'll tell you that much. I was like, wait a second. He's using all this. He must know.
Yeah.
So
at this point, how the whole world doesn't know Batman is Bruce Wayne, I'll never know. But also, wait 5 minutes, there'll be a crisis, and it won't matter.
It snapped out of existence.
Yeah.
But Gotham
Why don't
fights.
people buy comics anymore, Jesse?
Hey, listen, there's always new readers. Just because you've read a story once doesn't mean it can't be retold and read by somebody else again. All right?
Well, just they keep breaking the universe. Why would anyone be invested in it?
Yeah. Anyway, but Gotham fights back. Harley Quinn returns with renewed resolve. Batgirl reclaims her role as Oracle. Red Hood, Nightwing, and the rest of the Bat family rally under Batman's call. Catwoman redeems herself by stealing back the Wayne fortune from Joker's accounts. The tide begins to turn as Gotham's defenders launch a coordinated counteroffensive, cutting through Joker's forces and reclaiming key ground. Through visions of Alfred and painful self-reflection, Batman regains his purpose, casting off the effects of the toxin and facing Joker head-on in a final, brutal confrontation at Ace Chemicals. In the war's climax, Harley forces Batman into a moral crossroads. As she runs from the scene, she reveals that Batman has to choose to save either Harley or Joker, as she has strapped bombs to both of them. This time, Batman makes a choice, leaving Joker to his own fate. Gotham is scarred.
Joker becoming every narcissist ex-girlfriend ever. Don't you walk away from me.
Gotham is scarred, but healing begins. New threats loom. Punchline readies herself for trial. Clown Hunter teeters on the edge of vengeance, and a mysterious new rival known as Ghostmaker, one page epilogue, prepares to challenge Batman's mission. The Joker War isn't just a tale of explosive action, it's a reckoning. With Alfred gone, Bruce Wayne must redefine his role not just as Gotham's protector, but as its leader. It's a story of legacy, trauma, and rebirth for Batman, for Gotham, and for every broken soul caught in the twisted game of the Joker.
Two things right off the bat. Harley Quinn's the best part of this book.
100%.
I kind of wish Batman wasn't in it. It's like this feels to me more like a Harley Quinn story, and like her relationship with the Joker, the introduction of Punchline, all of that. This feels more like Harley Quinn's your big hero here, not the Joker, not Batman. But to kind of support that before you go to your next point, the choice that she makes Batman make is the one that everybody always screams about. Like, why doesn't Batman just let the Joker die? Why end this guy? And he does that here, and the only reason he does that is because of Harley Quinn. But go ahead. That, he knows he's willing to bet that Joker will figure out a way out of it. And Harley Quinn was all but dead. Porn has ruined Batman and Harley Quinn for me. I cannot picture Batman and Harley Quinn alone with no characters around without doing the thing that my friend did when I watched Melrose Place with him years ago. They're gonna fuck. Are they gonna fuck? Like, especially the bit where she takes him to Poison Ivy's like magical swamp.
Oh yes, yeah.
In the sewers of Gotham or whatever. Yeah, Eden. And I was just like, damn it! I know they're not going to. This is a child's comic, but because I've now seen so much Batman and Harley Quinn porn, all I can think about is they're clearly gonna fuck now, right?
No, Mark, they're not.
And I know that, Jesse. Intellectually, I know that, but in my heart, in my weirdo brain,
wow,
I couldn't. I have to keep stopping myself. Like it's just a comic book. This isn't set up for porn.
Oh my gosh!
But that should tell you how much Harley Quinn and Batman porn there is out there. There's so much.
I was going to say
so much.
Yeah. There's it's in mass quantities. That's for sure. How do I follow that up? Let's see.
You don't. Let me continue. Back to the important part of the story. This is I don't hate this. I don't even dislike it. I'm more like, it's fine. It's a 5 on a 10-point scale. Like I said, the best stuff is the stuff with Harley, and more because, she's displaced by Punchline, and so she has to deal with that. And it's like, Punchline's doing the stuff of, you were so stupid. You're another one who thinks they could reach the Joker. I don't want to reach the Joker. So she's a nihilist, essentially. She's like, the Joker's vision of the world is that we should blow it up. The world is not worth saving. The world is worth causing it as much pain and then finally ending it. She's like, I believe in this. Like, Punchline's not insane. I kind of like the Punchline character. I like giving Joker kind of like a busy businesswoman sidekick, like somebody to kind of keep him grounded. Like,
Miss Tessmacher.
Yeah, can we fucking, hey, you crazy pants, can we stay focused? It's like herding cats with you, pal. They have a very like Sam and Diane dynamic, and I know that's like a very that ages me about 1,000 years. But for you kids, go back and watch Cheers. Diane was a very proper woman, and Sam was a sort of devil-may-care, roguish ex-baseball player turned bartender, and that was their dynamic. It was, Sam's trying to get Diane a little dirtied up, Diane trying to get Sam a little cleaned up. There was the sexual tension between them. Good old Shelley Long.
Right.
Good old sexy Shelley Long, Jesse. Remember her?
So funny. I get a lot of Cheers stuff that pops up on my feed, and I just recently saw where they were showing or they were talking about the final episode of Cheers and her returning. So,
yep, I'm the luckiest son of a bitch in the world. It's the final line of Cheers. Anyway, Punchline is his Diane, and it's a different dynamic than with Harley because Harley was in love with the Joker. She was capable and she was smart, but she was more of like, oh, Puddin', whatever you want to do. I live to serve. She was the submissive in that relationship, and Punchline I would not say is submissive to the Joker. Like she kind of posits herself as more of his equal,
right?
Like we'll execute your plan, but I'm going to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Like
right.
I'm not here for your craziness. I'm here for your destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. And so her fight with Harley is probably some of the best stuff of the book because Harley's like, don't go with the Joker. He'll just abuse you and throw you in front of him, and you'll take punches from Batman. And she's like, I don't want that to begin with. I'm not here for that, you twat. That's what I imagined her saying. So like that clash is good stuff. The Harley Quinn kind of getting to a point where like everybody else, she's speaking for not only the audience but everybody in Gotham and the Bat family. The Joker is not worth keeping around.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot be redeemed. He cannot be saved. He cannot be cured. And the longer he lives, the more people are going to get killed. He is a deadly virus. And then there's Batman, who is like, but killing is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, at this point, you're the reason people are dying, not the Joker. Your continued allowance of his existence is what's killing people, not the Joker himself.
Right.
And she makes Batman make a terrible choice. Like, you talked about like the bombs. Like she's like, I'm not gonna let this happen. Like she shoots him in the eye with a shotgun.
Yeah. Right, dude.
I don't know if you know this or not, but the eye is in front of the brain.
Yeah, I was sitting there thinking like, I mean, it either didn't go as deep as you think it would, or it went out the side of his head.
Fucking shotgun.
Could have been filled with rock salt. I don't know. Either way.
Hit him with a fucking dart. Ow.
Yeah,
Ow, Harley.
Ow. Yeah.
But yeah, so she shoots him, in the fucking eye, because we all know shotguns are also like very acutely targeted weapons.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So anyway, so she shoots him in the eye, and then she straps a bomb to him, and then she's like, tells Batman, she's like, you have lost, what's the word I'm looking for? You have lost validity. There's another word I'm looking for. It's the one that character from The Wire. Why I can't remember anything anymore. Lester. It's the bit that Lester says to I think it's Sindor, when in season 5, when they're like, why are you putting up an illegal wiretap? And he was like, I considered the decision to come down off of Marlowe in something like invalid. That's not the word he uses, but that's what he's going for. Invalid. And that's kind of what Harley says to Batman. I have considered your decision to continually let the Joker live just to murder more people invalid. And I'm no longer, I'm not, and because they have a whole conversation where it's like, if I see the shot, I'm taking it. And Batman's like, no, murder is wrong. And she's like,
right.
No, you're wrong, stupid.
Right.
At no point, at some point, you have to face reality, and you're not willing to. It's almost as if like the way they write Batman is if he lets even one of his rogues gallery die, then the mission has failed, as if they're more important than the citizens of Gotham. Because there's like, don't run around and kill people the way Batwoman does, but then there's like, why do you keep saving the Joker after he's killed millions of people? Right. So she's like, I'm not leaving. It's like your decision making is invalid. I'm not leaving this in your hands anymore. You are not the authority. So she straps a bomb to the Joker. She straps a bomb to herself. She like runs away, and then the Joker is just, again, every narcissist girlfriend. Batman.
Yeah.
Batman. You're not gonna let me die. Whee! Come and save me, Batman. And Batman having now turned into a donkey and then a lollipop.
Oh yeah.
Looks at the Joker and goes, nah, it'll be fine, and runs after Harley. And there's the Joker, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
100 years of this, and why are you now breaking up with me?
Yeah.
Of course, the Joker lives. Of course, he lives.
Yeah. I mean, he's able to escape, and our. I think we have a small issue afterwards. It's like 8 pages of him running into the diners, where we learn a lot about Punchline too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think as we were finishing out this trilogy, the first book, Killer Smile, is definitely about
I was gonna say the Joker War feels the most like a Batman book of all three.
Yeah, you're looking at Killer Smile, obviously Black Label, but it's also a dive into the psychosis, the psychotic Joker, and how the psychology that's played upon the victim
Killer
of the
Smile
Joker.
is the least like a Batman book, at the least like a comic book. It is just a short story about an antisocial psychopath and how he psychologically tortures his doctor. That's it.
Right. Puzzlebox is your unreliable narrator, Joker, and the insanity that comes along with some of the stupid stuff that he does. It makes no sense. It's just chaos.
Right.
And then Joker War is the quintessential Joker obsessed with the bat. That is all that Joker War is about, is Joker trying to get one over, or not even. I mean, he's just a completely,
the Joker War reminds me of the Eddie Izzard bit about like invading Russia. You're like, well, Napoleon ran into Russia. He was like, oh, I'm gonna win. Oh, it's a bit cold. And Napoleon's army runs away. And then Stalin, I've got a better idea, and he runs into Russia again. Oh, it's a bit cold. It's the same idea. The Joker War reminds me of like the Joker kind of looked at City of Bane, and I think he actually addresses it at some point at the end of the book.
Yeah, he does.
When he goes to
he's talking to Bane.
Yeah, he actually says to Bane, he was like, "How do you fuck this up?" And not like, "How did you lose the city to Batman?" But it was like, you were gonna kill the butler, and you did it in front of the kid.
Yeah,
like, you do that in front of Batman. You mortally wound him. What's wrong with you? It's like you're so bad at this. So it's almost as like Joker kind of building on City of Bane looked at what Bane did and was like, I've got a better idea. So if Bane was Napoleon, Joker is Stalin.
Yeah.
And it ends this, and it's the same beats. Let's take everything that's important to Batman, destroy it, turn everyone on Batman, break his spirit, break his mind, and then take over the city. Yeah. And then Batman finds his brain, finds his heart, puts himself back together, like like Scarecrow, not the villain, the actual like Wizard of Oz Scarecrow, puts all the stuff back in, and he returns to the city, a bit stronger, a bit wiser, and takes him out. The Joker War literally is almost beat by beat City of Bane.
We have the introduction of Clown Hunter in this book, or at least he's a new guy to me, which I find very, very meta. I don't know if that's the word. It's probably not the best. Ironic. Ironic's probably the best word. That his weapon is a damn bat with a batarang attached to it. And he is ruthless, dude. Like, he is killing these Joker thugs that are coming in and messing with his part of the Narrows, I think is the place that he lives. And boy, oh boy, was I there for that.
I talked to you a few weeks ago when we were doing Chain of Custody about Robert's argument about John Walker. Yeah, John Walker killing somebody with the shield.
Right.
And I said at the time, like, that person had given up. There was no reason to fucking take his head off, literally. Like, that person said, I give. But that's not to say that I don't believe in, like, corporal punishment. I think there are times where situations call for it. I don't think the death penalty as a thing that deters crime is true. But I do think that at some point, some crimes are heinous enough and they are beyond proving otherwise that the person does deserve to be dispassionately executed. Now, you extrapolate from that where this kid's coming from. Our heroes suck. Our heroes can win a fist fight, but do they ever stop these guys? Nope. Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Man-Bat, the Mothman, Calendar Man, Mustard Man, Condiment King. You know, they're all out there still.
Mothman is a thing that's down in West Virginia. Killer Moth might be something you're talking about.
Yeah, sure. Whatever, doesn't matter.
Well, Mustard Man too. I mean, no, just kidding.
My point
Pepperoni
is, like,
Man.
if you're writing from the standpoint of view of like the citizens of Gotham, they have to be fucking sick of the vigilantes.
Yeah, right.
You don't accomplish anything. Like, and so he's walking around just fucking killing these guys.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like, there's a reason why people relate to the Punisher. You know, where the Punisher's like, I was a soldier, I did my part for my country, for forgotten country. I came home and I was trying to be a better man. I was trying to be a civilized man, and common criminals took out my family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have nothing to live for. So I'm going to run around the streets with a machine gun and kill criminals. And people are like, as far as power fantasies goes, Punisher's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the idea that the system is so inherently broken, the society is so inherently broken that you could be having a innocent picnic in the park with your family and they could all end up dead because they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. And why is the park the wrong place? The park shouldn't be the wrong place. It's like, it's like the school shooting thing. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, school shouldn't be the wrong place is the point.
All right.
So going all the way back to Clown Hunter, he's like, I don't live by any of your stupid codes. Your codes is how we got to your codes is how from one year to the next we went from City of Bane to the Joker War.
Yeah.
And early in Tom King's run, there was a whole thing called the War of Jokes and Riddles, which is either it's been a while since I've read it or I haven't read it at all. I don't remember because I was reading the Tom King run up for about, I think, 4 trades, and then I stopped. And I think I vaguely remember, like, that was another one where between the Joker and the Riddler, like they had Gotham hostage. Mm-hmm. If you live in that city, I sympathize with I really do sympathize with Clown Hunter. Like, I was cheering him on. I'm like, you're the real hero of this book, Clown.
He is
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, he is the one that is like defending his home,
mm-hmm.
and he's taking it into his hands. And if you come in there, you are a clown, you are going to die. And he is not messing around.
Yeah, every time Batwoman tells Batman to go fuck himself, I'm not living up to your stupid code. I'm on Batwoman's side. Like, as much as I like Batman the character, the way they write some of the other characters in his books and how they react towards him and his code and the way he behaves, like, I'm more often than not on the side of people against Batman.
Sure.
I think the way they've written Batman over the years is a little ridiculous.
Well, and I think a lot of the extra characters that you're talking about that you identify with are probably put in there in the book too, for people like, with that same disposition to identify with. But anyway, well, that's really all the notes that I had here. I mean, I did dig the bat suit at the end where the Joker was wearing the bat suit and fighting Batman in it. Supposedly it was this real fancy bat suit. We even get like a dream sequence that he's having as he's trying to work through all this Joker toxin and whatever hallucinogenic stuff that Harley gave him to supposedly get it out of his system. But he starts seeing what's going on in the future, and he's wearing this fancy bat suit. So I think he's got this thing created, and then the Joker, of course, is the one that steals it and is wearing it and fighting Batman with it at the end, which I thought was that was pretty cool. But yeah, the Joker is just he's crazed throughout this whole thing. He's orchestrating this war on Gotham and on Batman, and like I said, it's just a quintessential Batman versus Joker.
How nervous did you get in the scene with Batman and Batgirl
when
he goes to her apartment again?
Oh,
that's Joker and Batgirl.
Oh yeah, so that opens this whole thing up. If that was the first issue I read anyway. Okay. I don't know where
how it is in the trade. It's close to the beginning, but it's not. It's more towards the beginning than it is the end. But it opens with, I guess, issue 95 of Batman.
So what's funny is I went and grabbed a DC. It wasn't from the DC website. It was somebody else. Mm-hmm. wrote a reading order for Joker War, and threw that in there at the beginning, and then it had all these other issues down below it. And then I looked at the trade that we are reading from and the issues that are listed there. And the dude had like 5 or 6 other issues in there I didn't even need to read. And I got halfway through it and I'm like, shit, I don't need this one. I don't need this one. I already did notes for him. But anyway, so that's where he started me out. That was the first issue that I read. And how nervous was I? I mean, that fight was awesome. I'll tell you that much because, she's struggling for her life. He ends up like paralyzing her again because supposedly she has some kind of cybernetic thing that
Lucius walks. It's like a microchip in her spine.
Right. So she's able to do something. But I mean, it was, I thought it was a great fight. I loved it because the way
I didn't realize that was still canon.
Oh, that she was paralyzed?
Yeah.
Me either. I mean, I don't know what is and what isn't anymore sometimes.
Yeah, no shit.
The way that issue ended, too, if I remember right, is both of them just laying on the ground. Like, just about out of it, and so is Batgirl.
It was the only other thing I was interested in this book. It's so weird, because like the Batman stuff I was the least interested in. The Harley Quinn stuff I was interested in. The Punchline stuff I was interested in. And then that one scene, like, I kind of just now want like an Odd Couple comic book of Batgirl and Joker. Joker's kind of a slob. Batgirl, Batgirl is clean, and they're just living together in an apartment.
The old Odd Couple. The Red Hood Outlaw issue. I'm throwing this out here. I know it doesn't mean much to you, but
I don't understand who the fucking Red Hood is anymore. Because wasn't that Jason Todd?
It is Jason Todd. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Jason Todd. He's a good guy now. He's obviously went through some changes, as you can tell, because he's using rubber bullets. And of course, this is again, he was the extreme vigilante. At one point, he was hurting people pretty bad. And then Batman got a hold of him and said, "Don't you do that in my city." He's like, "Okay, I'm only going to use rubber bullets from here on out." Dick Grayson. Were you following the whole Richard thing? Dickie
Not
boy?
even a little bit. I mean, I gathered that was Dick Grayson, but
he had gone through some really big changes. He becomes like this like super spy at some point and changes his name to Rick Grayson, RIC. Anyway, it was really crazy. And of course, Punchline apparently had brainwashed him or something into whatever evil thing that he was, and he was fighting the other bats. Anyway, Red Hood Outlaw, I just want to point this out here. The creative team on that, Scott Lobdell, and I believe it was Danny Meeke was involved, and Brett Booth on the art. These are some 90s names, my friend. So I loved the look of the book. It felt really 90s to me, and but the storytelling was, I think, was. I mean, it was okay. I didn't know what the heck was going on, other than I just know Dick Grayson had some kind of pendant was involved. They had to get the pendant off of him and destroy the pendant, and he regains all his memories. Great, fantastic. Now he's back on the side of Batman.
It is stories like this which remind me to not follow comics month to month.
I get you. All right, there it is. That is the Joker War Saga. I don't have anything else to add.
It was okay. I don't hate it. Like I said, there's good stuff I was able to pull out of it, good stuff to talk about. But I'm finding that books like the Puzzlebox or Killer Smile are more my speed when it comes to comics. That when we do a trade that is essentially a gathering of comics from like the monthly continuity, I don't like them as much.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'd rather not. Because, and I think a lot, I think a lot of it is, you mentioned a couple times, like, what's it matter? We're going to be doing this again next year. We're going to be, or something, it's not going to matter in the long, and that's unfortunate. And DC Black Label gives the creative team an opportunity to tell a story that's way outside of continuity, which I think a lot of, I have a lot of appreciation for it. I think a lot of, storytellers want to go the Black Label route because they don't want to be stuck in continuity. They don't want to, because they know it almost kind of carries a negative connotation to it. Like you got all this stuff you've got to try and maybe think of. We just talked about the whole Rick Dickie Boy Grayson thing. Yeah. No idea what we were stepping into there.
Look at what happened with City of Bane, where both of us thought, like, is this the multiverse? What is this?
Well, yeah, what the hell is Thomas Wayne doing here? I don't understand. You can't just
because we didn't read the button.
Precisely. All right. Let's get into plugs, man. This was our trilogy, buddy. We did Joker, Killer Smile, Joker Presents a Puzzlebox, and the Joker War Saga.
I was so worried I overloaded you with too many books. Like
we did it. Well, I'll tell you that Joker War Saga, I was sitting there going, there's no way Mark's getting this done. There's no way he's getting through all these fucking issues. This story is huge. Mm-hmm. And I thought that would be one of those ones where you'd be like, okay, let's do a three episode of this one. But no, I paced myself. I'll tell you that much, because I did not want to be sitting there today spending 8 hours reading Joker War Saga, and then I would have threw something at you. Somehow I would have launched it and it would have landed on you in Florida.
Why? Got like stickers on it, like Memphis.
Yes, it's all past customs somehow through Mexico. I don't know what the fuck happened, but it got there. But yeah, I didn't. As long as I paced myself, we opened it up with a real quick, easy one with Joker, Killer Smile. Joker Presents a Puzzlebox was 14 issues, but shit, 10 pages of an issue is nothing. And Joker War Saga was a lot, but again, I enjoyed what I was reading, so I didn't hate it.
Funny, like when I was trying to put this together, it was like I wanted to do Killer Smile, and then it was like, okay, we'll find 2 more Joker books, and everything is part of another. I understand the Joker War Saga was. You gotta understand that I threw in the Joker War Saga because it was on my shelf, and I needed a 3rd book. I went looking for the puzzle box because I wanted something encapsulated and somewhat short. Because we usually do with these books, like when we first started doing this, we were doing trades. Trades have 4 to 6 issues in them, mm-hmm. So we do anywhere from 12 issues to 18 issues. Right? That's it. 18 issues. That's the Mark and Jesse experience at a max.
Usually,
I think a little bit. I think we did a little bit more for Jessica Jones because it was 4 trades.
Mm-hmm.
But we pushed through and we got it done. With this one, like because it wasn't it wasn't like trades. It wasn't one complete series. The numbering was out of whack for me. So it was like, well, one's got 3, one's got 8, one's got 12. Like, well, I hope Jesse doesn't hate me for this.
It is absolutely the most issues that I've covered in one single recording here. Even though we're splitting this all up, it is definitely the most issues that I sat down and read to do one recording with. So, but yeah, I don't push it any further though. I don't know what the hell else you're going to do in order to push it further.
I think of one time I pitched to you what was it, the Lois Lane book, and it was like, a fairly lengthy book. And it was like that was one entire episode that you cut up into 3.
Man, and I was just sitting there thinking today, somebody had come across my Facebook feed where he had a stack of like books that he had picked up from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I remember coming out of the library in 2013, 2016, 17, something like that. And one of those with a stack like that for Alan Moore week. And one of them was fucking From Hell, which was this fucking thick.
Yeah.
It was massive.
We did that. Do you remember we did that for Alan Moore week here?
I do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said I grabbed those books from the library to do them for the podcast episode. Okay. And it reminded me of you when I saw the stack of books, as I was like cursing you when I was taking the forklift back to my freaking car.
Well, Jesse, it only gets worse from here.
Oh no, what did you do?
Because June 15th, we have 5 trades to do. 5. The entire Darth Vader saga from Marvel / Star Wars.
Okay. All right. So let me just go take a look because I'm curious as to how many issues this is going to be.
Sunday, June 15th. I am making, because again, these are on my shelf and I want to get them read. These are the Darth Vader books. There's been a couple of different versions of Darth Vader. This is the original Darth Vader book from when, from the post-Disney Lucasfilm merger. When they started doing comic books, this is that iteration of Darth Vader. So there's 4 volumes of the Darth Vader book, and then there's a second book that is Vader Down. Which
yes, I've heard of Vader Down, which I've heard is pretty good.
And Vader Down is a couple of different books, into one. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Okay, so Vader Down incorporates let me see,
Eastbound and Vader Down.
Yes. Okay. There's 6 issues. Vader Down is 6 issues,
Okay.
and it incorporates Vader Down, which was November 18th, 2015. Darth Vader issue number 13, Star Wars issue number 13, Darth Vader issue 14, Star Wars 14, and Darth Vader 15, which is why I wanted to do it this way.
Okay. All right then.
And I think I remembered like why I was doing this, because if you look at like Darth Vader volume, if you look at the individual Darth Vader volumes, they skip those issues.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Vader down. Vader down, y'all.
Vader downtown. So anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing June 15th is Darth Vader 1 through 4 and Vader Down.
This should be interesting because just out of nowhere I think it was last week or a week before, my son came to me. He was like, I'm watching all the Star Wars films. This is Mongo. Mongo's never expressed interest in Star Wars as far as the films go.
Crazy.
So he comes to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm watching them right now." He's like, starting with episode 1, 2, 3. So I watched the 3rd episode with him, and then I was like, "Okay, all right. So how are you going to do this? You going to do Solo? You going to do Rogue One, and then go into the?" He's like, "Well, I guess if that's what I'm supposed to do." I said, I'm gonna watch these with you here, buddy. So
I think Solo gets a bad rap.
I enjoyed it. We watched it there. Yeah. I think it was 2 days ago, and I didn't hate it. I mean, it was dark. It was one of those movies where I couldn't see anything. Yes,
yeah,
Rogue One's my favorite.
And I think Solo is actually a better movie than it gets credit for. I think the problem with Solo is that it came out after The Last Jedi. And
everybody was crapping all over Last Jedi.
Yeah, people were pissed.
Yeah.
So Solo kind of bore the brunt of that. But it's better than I think people give it credit for. There's some things about it that, if it's another one of those where there was clearly 2 competing visions going on with the movie, and it's sort of stitched together between the 2 different directors, and it was rewritten and reshot and recobbled together, and no one, and then by the time they were done with it, it was Homer's car. It was just an overloaded mishmash of non-ideas. But like somewhere in there is a halfway decent movie.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. It was funny because Caleb watches Darth Maul get cut in half, and then Solo happens, and Darth Maul's still alive. And he's like, "Oh!" And it turns out that apparently is his favorite Sith. And then I looked at him and I said, "You're not going to see Darth Maul ever again."
Well, that's not true, because if Andrew were here, he would tell you that he's in.
No, it's going to be an animated whatever.
Yeah,
something.
It's Clone Wars.
Clone Wars.
Or some shit.
Caleb, unfortunately, is not watching any of the series.
Yeah.
Although that might get him to do it. If I say, if I'm like, dude, Darth Maul is all over that thing, he may actually watch the animated Clone Wars.
People have been telling me for years. That I should watch Clone Wars.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
I have tried 2 or 3 times. I can't get through all of it.
Oh.
I just don't care enough. And at this point, I'm just like an anti.
I was going to say, wait a second. Yeah, things have changed now for you as far as Star Wars goes.
Yeah.
Once we're jumping back into this, I'm really curious as to how the comics are going to go for you now.
This is one of the few rereads, because I started them. I've actually finished a couple of the volumes before.
Okay.
But then I would take these long breaks, and I forgot what I read, and then I don't know where I am in the book anymore. So I'm like, all right, this is a job for Jesse Starcher.
We shall sally forth.
Yeah. So I have on my shelf Darth Vader Volume 1 through 4. What I don't have is Vader Down. I have to go get that.
Eastbound and Vader Down.
So that's what's next here on Source Material. I know Jesse cuts these up, and they'll be out. Whenever you're listening to this will have happened months ago.
This was 2025, folks.
Yeah. So I will just say, check out all of my podcasts on W2M Network. Damn You Hollywood is almost every single Monday, and then Thursday is either a triple feature or a TV party. Alexis helps out with the slop She does the Star Wars and the Marvel and the cartoons and all the bullshit I don't want to deal with. Occasionally, I do something with her that I actually enjoy, like The Bear, or I don't know if this will have happened by then, but getting her got her pronouns, pal, tenses, to watch a Netflix show called Apple Cider Vinegar, and it's about the real true life scandal about someone pushing apple cider vinegar as like a health thing.
I've heard of the health benefits of that, so wow, I didn't know that this was a scam.
Yeah, there's a Netflix show about it, so I'm gonna make her watch that. I know we've got a review of everyone's very excited about this critic. This is gonna be like our Avengers Endgame, where like people are like coming out of the woodwork to want to be a part of our critic review. Which I put you on against your will.
What is it?
The Critic.
The Critic?
John Lovitz.
This is The Critic, the show. I do know what you're talking about. I had no idea it was on. When is this happening?
Jesse,
Mark, go to that fucking calendar and tell me when things are happening. I don't. I just went through the calendar a few days ago and was looking through like, okay, where's my name at? Because I need to put it on my schedule.
Just do the shows I tell you to do. It'll be fine. June. Let me tell you how June is like Mark makes Jesse do stuff month.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, because it's my birthday. I'm acting like a big girl for the month of June. It's like, oh, it's my birthday, June 2nd. So how I want to spend my birthday, make Jesse do 1 million podcasts. We got
I see me now. Yeah, I see it. Okay,
Stripperella, June 1st. Then we've got I'm making you do another Refn triple feature of Drive,
Bronson, and
Neon Demon.
Oh my gosh.
Father's Day is when we're doing Darth Vader. Then The Critic. Let's see. And we have a Sessions. And then we've got another source material recording of all Superman stuff because I wanted to get All Star Superman in before the movie. And then The West Wing. Oh, Jesse.
Oh, yeah. What season will be in there? That's season 6.
Yep.
The penultimate, right? It goes 7, right?
I think there's 7 seasons total. Yeah, I started season 4. God, we're talking about it this Thursday. I have really
shit, dude!
You got
22 episodes
in there. Yeah,
buddy.
I quit my job. I have time to watch them over the next 2 weeks.
Okay, fair enough.
But it's this Thursday. Except that whenever you're listening to this, it might not even be. That will already pass. Well,
we're in season. We've already done whatever the next thing comes.
Newsroom by now, I'm sure. I'm done talking now. Check me out on TikTok. That's most important. I'm at Mark Radulich on TikTok. Come see clips of the shows that I use ChatGPT now to find for me. Did I tell you about that? I started putting the transcription of every podcast into ChatGPT, and I'm like, find 3 segments and give them titles for me.
Does it do a good job?
Halfway decent.
Okay.
It won't properly repeat things when I ask it to. Like if I say, "Oh, can you repeat what you did?" Then it finds me 3 new clips. ChatGPT is a little retarded at times.
Well,
it was on the struggle bus yesterday. I was trying to have it to make some artwork for me for one of my clips of our Hardbody show, and
you violated those policies, didn't you?
It couldn't do it. Like, it was like struggling to even start the image, so I ended up I used Google Gemini to do it instead. But that one couldn't do letters to save its fucking life. You know, you've seen what it does. Like it misspells things, or it adds like or whatever. So I said just make a picture of a hot glistening girl on the beach in a bikini and just give me that. And I went to photojoiner.com and I put the lettering in myself.
It's funny you mentioned that because today I was messing around with it and I was uploading an episode that I recorded last night of the 90s podcast that I do for 90s comics. It's Unspoken Issues. I'll just roll this right into a plug. I said I took a transcript, and the transcript that I have actually has time codes in the transcript itself. I'm not pulling this from YouTube. I'm pulling this from something different, but it has the time codes in it. And I was like,
I'm pulling my transcript from Notebook LM.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I was like, hey, do me a favor. I want to make chapters because now Spreaker gives you the option to put chapters in your description, and really it essentially pulls the chapters that you choose in your file. So it lists like 15 chapters, and I'm looking these things over, and I'm like, I don't even remember talking about that. Then I would go to the transcript, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess I did talk about that. So some of the stuff's pretty amazing, and then sometimes you're just like, okay, I better double check because I don't know if that's hallucinating or if I am.
Yeah.
But
it's hell because like it saves me from necessarily having to go back and re-listen to everything and try to find clips myself. Also, like with triple features, it was easy because I would just break them up into individual movie reviews, and then I was kind of back and forth on ChatGPT about like how do I get more engagement, how do I get more listeners or more viewers, and they were like, don't just throw up straight movie reviews, pick out segments. That's more of what's going to, because I was looking at like a lot of titles on YouTube, and they were wordy and unwieldy. But they're eye-catching, and it doesn't really matter if the content matches the title. Because let me tell you, I am watching a lot of people's like compiling of TikToks, and then it's like women are going crazy because men refuse to date.
Oh, this was that channel that you were
fucking. It barely resembles any of the TikToks.
I remember you talking about that channel.
That channel, there's like 50 of them now. I have gone full bore into this. So I had decided on my Mark Radulich YouTube, not through WTM, I'm doing my own little solo project where I'm just gonna record myself watching TikToks. No shit. Like, not a joke. By the time people are watching, I will already have done this.
Oh man.
I am basically just going to record myself on StreamYard watching TikToks. I'm gonna edit it down so that it flows into 20-minute shorts.
That is great. I mean, and why not?
Yeah. One guy's entire fucking channel is him reacting to TikTok.
Right.
Now, granted, he's watching a lot of girls cry about dating. That's his whole shtick. But my son was like, please don't be that guy. Please, Father, I'm begging you. Please don't be the cringy old man laughing at women in dire straits and dating girls on TikTok. And I'm like he was like, I'm for you watching TikToks and making lazy content. I'm all about this. You don't have to be that guy though. Just react to normal shit. And
please.
So yeah, Mark reacts. I'm calling it swimming in slop.
Okay, perfect. And let me ask: did you ask ChatGPT to help you with the title? Because
no, I came up with that myself.
Did you? I have definitely run shit by ChatGPT. Like, what should I call this? All right. Well, swimming with slop. I like it. I can't wait. Swimming in slop swimming in slop. Right.
Swimming in slop. Yes.
I love it. All right. So I already plugged the 90s podcast, Unspoken Issues. And then we have the Source Material Comics podcast, which you're listening to right now. I may actually get some, motivation to grab some clips from this and put something out there. Those when you have some visual content to go along with your podcast, sometimes it helps. Anyway, check.
Going back through the Falcon and Winter Soldier and throwing up the thing about Captain America's shield and just throwing random pictures with it, it's got a fair amount of views.
Yeah, it helps out.
And it's literally I just threw pictures that kind of sort of match the conversation we were having.
That's all you need to do. All you need to do.
Jesse, take me home. I feel nauseous.
Oh, he's feeling sick, folks. Let me tell you. The last
thing.
Oh my
God.
last thing.
Robert
Wait.
Should be hostage.
Last thing I've got to plug. I got 3 things I got to plug.
Why don't you talk to me about your UFC coverage for an hour?
Oh man, did you see Usyk von Schnockenlich in the with the takedown? Oh, anyway, the snap material where me and Evan get together and talk about Marvel Snap. So check that out as well. Should be on the YouTube. Should be on W2Mnet. Should be the Source Material Comics feed. That's it. That is all I have. Mark Radulich.
You don't have anything else about Usyk von Schlockenstock?
I do not. Although he's going to be world champion soon. Mark my words.
Oh, absolutely.
We're out of here. That over there is Mark Radulich. I'm Jesse Starcher. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, he's got to push buttons.
I forgot I'm the one doing this.